So, first things first, what are we going to do? Get gifts to show up. We already kind of looked at the file structure in the index HTML, so we know that there's a UL all the way down here with a class name of gift list, right? So let's see what's inside of our source. We have an event handlers function or file, which honestly I'm probably not going to use. We have the gift data, which is an array of gift objects, each of them having an ID, name, and an image. And then we have the styling, whatever. And then we have the index.js, right? So we seem to have two console logs. And if we go to here and open our developer console, they're being logged right here. We're not logging gifts because we haven't done anything yet, but DOM content has fully loaded, right? And so the reason why this is logging without us doing anything is because those files are included as scripts. Sound good? Let me just gifts. Put a debugger right here. Refresh. Let's see what gifts is. Why is this so big? Oops. Cool. Gifts is that array of objects that we saw, right? What can we do with an array? We can just iterate over it, right? So there's different iterators with JavaScript that we can use. There's for each, there's map, there's find, there's filter, there's a bunch of them. But if all we want to do is iterate over each element and get the details to show up on the page, what iterator makes the most sense? Show of hands if you think it's map. Okay, show of hands if you think it's for each. So map does have its values when you want to return a new copy of that array. Let's say you wanted to manipulate it and reassign the name of every single gift to be a bag of coal, right? Then we can use map because we're going to modify the original array and return a copy. But if all we're doing is iterating and like taking out data from the object, for each probably makes more sense. So keeping that in mind, I'm just going to do I could do this functionally. Do you guys like arrow functions or like the ES5 just writing out the function? Arrow? Okay. So, beautiful. I'm going to say show gifts, right? It's going to take in nothing. But inside, we're going to iterate over each gift and display as an li inside the UL, right? Writing out comments to define what your goals are for the specific function is great. Also, functional JavaScript. There's a lot of functions inside of DOM content loaded, and so the way you name it is super important, and also having every function have a single responsibility. If in this function, I call it show gifts, but I'm showing each gift, I'm letting you like a gift, I'm letting you delete a gift, then the function name doesn't really apply, and there's too much logic encapsulated in one function. Okay? So I'm going to say gifts.forEach gift. All right, curly boys. What do curly boys mean after an arrow? What do I have to remember to do? Return. Yes. I don't want to see this mistake. Okay. So for each gift, we're going to create an li, we said, right? Because right now there is no li. So I'm just going to define a variable. Let gift li equal document dot nice. Create element. I'm going to create an li. And then for the li, every gift has a name and an image. Maybe I should just create a div. No, that's fine. So for the gift li, I'm going to set the inner text equal to gift.name, right? That's just the name of the gift right here in the object. And then I also need to show the image somehow, right? So that means I need an image tag. So I'm probably going to create a gift image, create another element, and then do gift image.source equals gift.image. Everyone following me so far? Cool. So if I save this and I go to the browser, did I take out the debugger? Okay. I'm going to refresh. Show of hands if you think nothing's going to show up on the page. All hands up. All hands up. Yeah, that's what I thought. Good job, guys. So what we've done is we've created elements, but we haven't tied it to anything. It's just floating in space, right? So if I refresh, nothing shows up. I can still console log gift li and console log. Oops. Gift image, and they'll show up in my developer console here. Maybe not. Oh, I didn't return anything. Or I didn't invoke this function. So if I do show gifts and invoke it, I'll see the console logs for the 4 gifts, but it's not showing up on the page because I haven't appended anything. Also, something I want to highlight that I do this a lot, and I did it a lot as a student. Whenever I did anything that was DOM manipulation, I was like, oh, let me make my code really, really clean and have it encapsulated inside the function. 70% of the time, 100% of the time, I would always forget to invoke that function. I define it and have all the logic in there, but it would never show up because I would never invoke the function that's going to apply this logic to the DOM. Does anyone have any questions about what I just said? It's very important. Yes? So I have all this stuff where I'm like console logging and creating HTML elements, but it's inside of a function. When you have stuff inside of a function, it's just a function definition. I'm just saying, like, it would be equivalent to me saying, like, function A, like, add numbers, it's just going to add A and B, right? It's just defining it. Me actually adding 2 numbers together would have to be like me invoking it and passing it parameters, right? The logic inside of the function is never applied anywhere unless you invoke it with a parentheses. That is super important if you want to refactor your code to have it encapsulated inside functions. Any other questions? Yeah.
Could you also invoke it just by putting extra parentheses after your 16?
Exactly. If I wanted to make this an immediately invoked function expression, immediately, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think I have to wrap the whole thing in parentheses, the function definition itself, and then invoke it right here. So if we refresh, no, it didn't like that. Is this not how I write an IFI? You wrap the whole thing, and then you just invoke it?
Oh, run it, let me see what happens.
I just hit the debugger.
Where's your debugger?
Right at show gifts.
Wait, let me see the go back to test editor.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what line is the debugger on?
There is no debugger, it's just hitting it because it doesn't like the way I wrote this.
Oh, wait, go back. Did you hit a breakpoint or no?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Go back to your text editor on line 17, put a semicolon, and refresh. Save and refresh. Still doing it. Go back.
I'll look into how to make this an IFI, but you can do an immediately invoke function expression where you invoke it right after you define it. I don't remember the exact syntax off my head though. So if I refresh, nothing shows up because I commented out the invocation. Cool, so like I said, we have an li and we have an image tag, but they're not showing up on the page. Also, if you guys feel at all that this is going really slow, you don't have to stay. This is completely optional. So here, I'm going to take out these console logs. So I want the gift image to be like a child of the gift li. I want the image to be inside the li. So there's a function I can use from DOM manipulation and make something a child of something else. Yeah, append child, append, yeah, same thing. So gift li dot append gift image, right? So if I console log gift li now, it should have the li with the image tag inside of it, right? So because right now they're being logged separately. If I refresh, it's an li. Every gift is an li. When I expand it, it has the image as a child of itself. Okay? DOM tree. Okay, cool. So again, it's still not showing up on the page because what's the last step? We have to put it to the UL, right? LIs belong inside of a UL normally. So I'm just gonna do, oh no, I ran into a problem. I don't have that gift UL, right? I haven't found it yet. Do I wanna find it inside the for each and then append it? Meaning I'm gonna find it for every single time I iterate it, or make it a global variable that I can access. Global variable, right? I don't wanna have to keep finding something and keep saving it to a variable and taking up memory. So it has a class name of gift list. I'm going to do this in terminal or my console because I want you guys to see this. If I do document.getElement by class name and then pass in gift list, what comes back to me? Is it an array? It's not an array, right? It's an HTML collection. It looks just like an array because it has those brackets, but you can't call array methods like map or for each or split on it. So if you want this to be an array that you can actually manipulate, you have to do array.from and then the document we found, right? Oh, bracket 0. Or maybe not. Don't you do bracket 0? So if I do...
put your bracket 0 outside the parentheses.
Smart.
See?
See?
Yeah, and then just terminate there.
There we go. Because bracket 0 is like an array. You're using the index. Now I'm getting the UL.
Yeah.
Also, keep in mind, get elements by class name. If you want the actual element that you found, it's always like the first element inside of it. It's very weird the way it works, but always remember to do like bracket 0 for the element that you're looking for, okay?
Yeah, so a couple things about this, like kind of a rule of thumb. Any of the like methods that kind of imply that the names imply that they're grabbing multiple things, such as query selector all, get elements by class name, get elements by tag name, right? These are all going to return like some type of collection, right? The name is kind of implying, oh, okay, there should be multiple things.
So in our code, I'm kind of going to break it down a little bit. Find the gift container, right? I'm going to do let gift HTML collection. Yeah, Sydney.
Why can't you just query select the gift list without still returning collection?
So I personally never use query selector. The only time I started using it is because of Andrew. Andrew loves query selector, and that kind of highlights something I want to point out to you guys is that how I do something with DOM manipulation is going to be completely different than how Jeff and Andrew do it, right? But that doesn't mean any of our ways is better than the other. It's just kind of what makes the most sense to you and what you're the most comfortable with. And furthermore, if you're able to give an explanation of why you chose to do it that way and kind of back yourself up, then that's all you need to do. So if you want me to do query selector, I can.
Well, it's over return a collection, you have to do it in the
One sec. No, this is just the actual HTML element. But let's say like it's the same thing, and it bypasses us having to create an array. But let's say someone chose to do get elements by class name. If they were never shown this, then that would be like kind of sucky. Do you guys like query selector? I can use that instead. Yeah? Okay. Let gift collection equal document.query selector. We've defined it by the class name, so we need the period and then the name of the class, which is gift list, right? Last step, get the li on that list. So I'm going to do gift collection dot append gift li. So let's see what this looks like. I'm going to move this over. Oops. Refresh. Hey, our 4 gifts. I added these 2. Originally, Andrew just had these 2, and I was so hungry. I was like, nah, I gotta put some food up there. This is still here. We can just leave that. But now we know every gift. Okay, so we've done this, right? Get all gifts to show up. The way I did it wasn't perfect. I made mistakes throughout it, but I didn't use my poll, and I referred to my peers for help and you guys. That's the way you guys should be trying to solve JavaScript. Don't feel like you have to solve it on your own. So our next step is to be able to edit the gift, right? Maybe it makes more, yeah, Tira.
So it's still fine if you, I get what we did and I get why, and like, I think it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of like creating the elements and like assigning the values, like if we just created basically like a string, like a get div with like li tags and breaks and whatever else you needed, and then just set like the get container dot inner text.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's fine too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you do it as long as it works and we have a reason.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is like, if instead of creating the li and creating the image and then appending everything, if I just created a big string with backticks of the HTML elements and just appended that to the page, or like set that as the inner HTML, that would be fine as well. It's totally doable. So I've kind of realized the way I've done this by creating an li, creating an image, is not really conducive to like the rest of the steps I need. Because there's a lot of other logic that I need to add for each gift. I need to be able to edit, be able to delete, right? So that probably means I have to refactor what I have so far. I think I want every gift to be inside of a div. Div. And then append the image and the li to the div instead so that I can add a form to edit the gift. Okay? Does that make sense so far? Question? Okay. So my last step is to do gift div.append gift li. It's not really going to look that different, but if we inspect it, oh, did I not save?
I think you're only appending the li, not the div.
Oh, true, true. Refresh. Let me go here. So every li with the image child tag exists inside of a div now. It doesn't really look that different, but it helps us to be able to add functionality. Okay? So if I want to edit a gift, that probably means I need to have a button somewhere, right? Like edit gift. So I'm also, let's put this in another function. We could just do it in here. Before I append any, I'll create another element, edit button. So let edit button equal document.create element button. And I'm going to say edit button dot inner text equals edit. Sound good so far? It's pretty simple. Yeah, Allie.
Is there a rule of thumb between creating the button in the JavaScript versus directly putting it into the HTML?
Say that again?
Like, can you literally just paste the button element into your HTML versus writing like document.create element?
Like putting it in here?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, the question is like, is there a difference between creating the element to edit the button in the JavaScript as opposed to putting it directly in the HTML, right? So I want an edit button for each gift, and where I'm creating a div for each gift is inside of the index.js. So if I try to put it in here, if I just put like button, this is just going to be an edit button for something that doesn't exist yet, because this gets loaded first, right?
One thing to kind of keep in mind with this though, if you are using JavaScript to create a bunch of buttons and you're listening for clicks on the individual buttons, and those buttons are removed, your event listeners do not disappear with them. So there's a possibility, and I can show you a specific example of this. if you're using JavaScript to like render a form and you're like listening for clicks or submits on that form and it's like off the page, you run into some kind of strange bugs. I'll show you an example of that another time.
Okay, so we have the button we've created. We've created the inner text, and I probably want this as like a child of the li. So I'll just do gift li.append edit button. And hopefully, when we refresh, it shows up. Nice, right here. See this button? It says edit. If I click on it, obviously nothing happens because like Andrew said, we didn't add event listeners to it yet. Okay? So, I want to add an event listener. Do I want to do it outside of show gifts? Or do I want to do it when I'm creating each gift div and appending it to the page? When I'm creating, right? Because I could do it outside of me creating all the gifts, but then I have to find every gift div with like a query selector and then apply and iterate over each one of those and then add the event listener when I already have access to those all right here. So I'm just going to do it inside of show gifts. I'll say edit button dot add event listener for click. And we know we can pass in a callback as a second argument, right? I'm just going to put in a callback like edit this gift. And it's not defined yet, so I need to define this function as well. Edit this gift. It's not going to take anything in. And inside of here, all I'm going to do is console log. You're trying to edit this. That's it. Short feedback loop. Don't assume that your event listeners and everything you know about JavaScript is like A+, you know it, everything exactly, and you don't need a test. You absolutely, positively have to console log, have to use debugger. Doesn't matter what you're doing, we really want you guys to do it because that's how you guys also learn. So, if I refresh this, I'm trying to let me move this up. I think there is like a scoping issue where I'm trying to call on a function that is not yet defined. So I'm just moving it up above show gifts. So if I click on this edit, hopefully we'll see a console log, right? We do. No matter which one we click on, we're still seeing that console log. Okay, any questions? Yeah, Tieram.
Do you always make your callbacks a helper function?
So the question is, in my event listeners, if I always make my callbacks a helper function, like I was talking about earlier, I like my functions having a single responsibility. So this one, the purpose was to show a gift. And I don't want to add in the functionality for you to be able to edit it inside of this as well, just because this is already pretty dense in terms of logic. So I like just passing in a callback. And it's pretty easy to just like Control F where that function is inside of your code. Any questions about what I've done so far? Who feels really comfortable about everything we've done together? Show of hands. Raise them high. High and proud. Nice. What's making you a little?
I typed everything. I'm getting some errors. That's all.
Oh, okay. You don't have to follow along, like. Okay. Yeah, Sydney. Yeah, of course.
Why did you choose to use wet for gift collection?
Say that one more time. I can't.
Sorry, why did you use wet gift collection or whatever
Mhm.
instead of constant?
I could do const. Oh man, I meant to do this globally, and I'm doing it inside the for each. Thank you for pointing that out for me. So I'm gonna hoist this all the way up to outside of the show gifts function so that I can still use it. Does everyone see what the issue is with what I did that none of you guys pointed out? No, I'm kidding. I was defining the gift collection inside of the show gifts function, but I'm probably going to be using it later on, so I'm just going to make it a global variable and take it out of here. And just move it all the way up here. And I'm going to get rid of this. Any other questions? Okay, so we have this callback function that we just want to edit the GIF that we've clicked on, right? What's one problem we can foresee already? Yeah, Tier.
You have to find what gift you're editing.
Exactly. We need to find each GIF that we're editing, right? So it would be super great if the button had like the ID of the GIF we're trying to edit, right? I think that's such a good idea, Tier. Thank you. So in this, before I append the button to the LI, I'm just going to assign what its ID is. I'm just going to do edit button.id equals GIF.id, right? And so if I put a console, I think I need to pass in the event here. If I put a debugger right here, hopefully I'll be able to see that button HTML element with a GIF ID inside of it. So if I refresh, I'm going to click the fourth one. I'm in the debugger, which is good. That means my event listener is being triggered and my callback is being invoked properly. If I do event.target, it's the button tag with the ID of the GIF ID. Yes, Tier.
So when you created that in your code,
Mhm.
you set it, you didn't have to declare, you didn't have to like create a button ID. You just set a button.id equals gift ID and created it like on the fly, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say I also wanted to assign like a class name. I could just do edit button.class equals hi.
So you need to create new elements, but if you're putting things inside those elements, you can like create them.
Exactly. Good. These are just attributes on the HTML element itself, so you can just call on it directly with a period. Any other questions? Yeah.
So is that, like if you were to, is that button's ID the gift ID, or a, like you would have a separate attribute for like not related to the gift ID?
The ID of this button is going to specifically be the ID of the GIF that I'm iterating over. So if I refresh this, the last one is 4 because it's the 4th gift, right? And then if I click on the first one, event.target is going to be 1 because it's the first gift in the array of gifts. Any other questions? Good questions, guys. So I know I have my ID. If I do event.target.id, nice, I get that string. So I could probably iterate over my array of gifts and find the one whose ID matches, right? So I'm gonna, in here, iterate. How do I iterate to get one specific gift? Find or filter. The thing about filter that I realized as a student, filter will return to you like the object that you need inside of an array. I don't know who said that, but keep in mind if you use filter, you're gonna have to do bracket 0 at the end of it to actually get the object, or else it's gonna be inside of an array. So I prefer to use find in this case, because I just want the object itself. So I'm gonna, yeah.
Just another point about that, just kind of like semantically, right? Like to find something means I'm looking for a single thing. To filter, I'm kind of like I want a subset of this data, right? Like I don't want, right? So filtering things out, I'm still going to get some collection and just a smaller collection. Whereas find, I'm looking for just the one.
Whose ID? I don't know grammar.
Should be whose, yeah. Like
This one? Whose ID matches
the other
the
one's whose.
one we clicked on, right? So we know let edit ID equal event.target.id. This is a string, right? In my gifts array, every ID is an integer. So there's 2 things you can do. You can do the loose equals, meaning just this, the double equal, or you can do the triple one. And I think it takes like 2 seconds to just use parseInt and make this an integer as opposed to a string. Sound good? Everyone knows what parseInt does, right? But okay, cool. So I'm gonna do gifts.find for each gift. I want the gift whose ID is triple equal to the edit ID, right? And I want it to be accessible outside of this, so I'm gonna make it defined outside of the find. So I'll do let edited gift equal just an empty object. And then in here, I'm going to reassign edited gift to be equal to gift. So I'm going to say if this is true, then reassign what edited gift equals. Otherwise, leave it as an empty object. Yeah, Tieran.
Were you trying to set that or compare it on line 13?
So, no, oh, yeah, good call. Any questions? So I'm just gonna put a debugger right here to see what edited gift is after I try to find it. So I'm gonna refresh this. Did I comment on other debuggers? Get rid of this. Refresh one more time. I'm gonna click edit for the first one. So hopefully edited gift is the one that has socks. 8 pairs of socks, nice. So we found the one that we needed and we have access to it outside of the find. So what I wanna do is create a form so that you can edit this one, right? Where do we want the form to show up? This is a total judgment call from you guys. I'm not trying to ask a quick trick question. Where do you want it to show up? This one? Yeah, so I'm just gonna super quick edit your gift. We're gonna make this an edit form. So that means I need to find this form, right? What does it already have? An ID, right? So I can use this ID to find it. And I'll just do const gift edit gift form equals document.getElement by ID. And the ID is new gift form. Okay. So when I'm in this debugger, I'm going to try to see if I have access to this form inside edit this gift. Okay, refresh. Click edit on this first one. Edit this edit gift form. It's not defined. But I bet you if I do a console log instead.
Yeah, this is a good thing to talk about too. Just like.
So, I'm not going to change anything in my code. All I did was add a console log before the debugger. Okay, refresh. Click this edit. We're in the debugger again, but let's see what console logged. So we have access to that form, but it's weird because a second ago, debugger said it wasn't defined. And keep in mind, debugger is great when it works well, but sometimes there are scoping issues where if you have things defined outside of the function, like these global variables, it will tell you it doesn't exist when it actually does. So if you run into this problem and you're like, no, I know I found this properly, just console log the variable that you're trying to access before the debugger to make sure you actually have it.
Yeah, to reiterate, there's actually a bug report on Chrome. This is an optimization according to Google that if you are in a debugger specifically and there are closure variables that you are not using in your debugger, Chrome will not load them in specifically in the debugger, even though you can still access them in your regular JavaScript code. So the fix for this is if you hit a debugger and you're getting a bunch of variables that are undefined, console log them so that you are using them before your debugger, and then you'll be fine. I can send that out if you want to go down a rabbit hole to like the innards of Chrome.
Okay, cool. So we know we want to use this form to edit the gift, right? This form already has inputs for the name of the gift and the image. And I want to kind of populate it with what the gift is right now, right? So I'm going to say, I need to find those inputs, right, to say what the value is. So each of these have an ID, the inputs for gift name input and gift image input. So I'm going to find those as well. I'm just going to say const edit gift name equal document.getElement by ID. Gift name input. And then if you really wanted to see query selector, I'll just do const edit gift image equals document dot query selector. It's an ID, so we need the hash, and then gift image input. Cool. So again, I'm gonna console log these additional 2 elements to make sure I'm finding them properly. And I'm not even gonna try to use it in the debugger because I'm pretty sure it's just gonna tell me it's not defined. So I'm gonna refresh this, click this edit. Hopefully in the console, we have all 3 of those elements, the form and its 2 inputs. Nice, the form and its 2 inputs. If I scroll up, oh, can't scroll up. Let me refresh this. The form, the whole thing, and then the name input, and then the image input. So if I already have a name and an image for the GIFs that I'm trying to edit, I'm just gonna say edit GIF name dot value equals this edited GIF that we chose, edited gift dot name. Any questions about what I'm doing? Okay, and then pretty much the same thing. Edit gift image dot value equals edited gift dot image. So comment out the debugger and let's see if I click on this edit, if it auto populates those 2 inputs with 8 pairs of socks and then the URL for that sock image. Oops. Nice. We're 70% of the way there. Okay, so I want to be able to say like, what's another gift? 9 pairs. Let's be really creative. What's something someone wants for Christmas? Or any non-denominational gift? Money. Money, that's good. Everyone wants money. I'm going to Google money. Don't look at the articles. Money. So, listen. Hundos. So, the bricks? Where's the bricks? This one? This one? Okay. I'm going to open this image in a new tab. So, I want to be able to say money and then put this new image in. And when I click edit gift, it'll edit what shows up here, right? Kind of 2 issues we have right now. Right now, we have an array of all of our GIFs coming from this GIF data file, right? Do I want to edit what's in here or just create a copy of this array in my index.js and then manipulate that? The second one, right? It'll make more sense why we want to do this when we introduce Ajax to this lab. So I'm just going to say const or let all GIFs equal GIFs, right? And then everywhere I'm referencing gift, I'm just going to, you know what, not worth it. I'm just going to leave that. Well, I guess I should use the new array that we've created, right? So I'm going to say all GIFs instead of GIFs right here. And then the other place I iterate is right here, all GIFs. Because now I'm using the copy of the original GIFs array. Because I need to manipulate something inside that array, right? So in here, kind of 2 things. I want to be able to update the gift on form submission, right? When I click edit your gift on this form. So do I want an event listener on just this button, or do I want it on the form submission if it's a form that I'm submitting on? Form submission, right? So I'm just going to say edit gift form dot add event listener. For submit, I'm going to pass it a callback. I'm just going to call it like update this gift. Okay? That makes sense so far to everyone? Okay. So, update this gift. Do you guys want me to see, do you guys want to see me write all that functionality in here instead of a callback? Yeah? I'll do that as well so you can see both ways. So I'm going to pass it the event So instead of passing in a callback, I'm just going to define everything inside this code block. What I want to do is first put a debugger here to make sure that this event listener is being triggered properly, right? I'm going to get rid of these. Refresh. I want to edit this one, and then when I click edit this GIF, hopefully I get into the debugger. Nice. I'm inside the event listener for edit GIF form on, I can't zoom in, on submit. Okay? And so in my all GIFs array, I need to update the attributes for the name and the value of this specific gift. So I'm going to say, because I need to find the GIF first, right? I wonder if we have access to edited GIF inside of this event listener. Just going to console log and see if it logs out. So I'm going to edit this GIF and then click submit on this form. Hey, look at that. It's the GIF. Okay, so if I have access to this GIF, then I could probably reassign what name and image point to and replace this in the array. We're gonna do some heavy JavaScript array manipulation. Okay, so I'm just gonna say edit it. Actually, let's see if we even have access to the inputs of the name and the image in this event listener. So if let me do dot value on them. If I refresh this, want to edit this, I'm going to say, hi everyone, the gift image is google.com. I'm going to click edit my gift, I hit the debugger, and those values show up. I think if I try to access these variables in my debugger, oh, see? It's honestly crazy. Sometimes it works.
Yeah, anytime that you're not using the closure variables, right, the debugger will not give you access to them.
So just to be safe, console log always.
Yeah.
So I have this gift object. So I'm going to say edited gift.name equals this, right? And edited gift.image equals this. Any questions about what I've done so far? If I ask you to explain to me what I just did, will you be able to? Show of hands if you feel confident. That's a good amount. Cool. So
Do you not have to prevent default from
you're so smart. I gotta do event.prevent default.
Why do we need to do that?
Why do we need to do that? Oh my God, such a good question. Student I've never heard from before. So on submissions of form, a form technically is a post request. If it's a post request, it's gonna try to go to a route, and that means you're gonna refresh your page. So to prevent that from happening, you just say event.prevent default, and it'll stop your DOM from reloading and you losing everything. If you're doing an event listener on a form, this should always be the first thing you write. And I made a rookie mistake and forgot it. Any questions? Cool. So now we have the new edited gift object, right? But we want that updated gift to be inside this all gifts array, right? So how do we replace something in an array? You can map. What if we just got the index? Or, yeah. What's a non-destructive one? JavaScript splice? Yeah, splice is the one I want. So with splice, you can choose your starting index, like where you want to replace the thing, replace the element. The second argument, I believe, is like the element you want to replace it with.
the number that you want to remove.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the first argument is like where in the array you want to manipulate the element. The second one is like how many you want to remove. Let's say I said 3, then I would remove like 3 elements from that index position. And then the third argument is like what element you want to replace it with at the initial index you define as the first argument. Splice is very useful if you're manipulating an array. Oops. So I need to find the index of this edit GIF form, or the edit GIF, right? Maybe, I'm pretty sure we have access to the whole object, including the ID. The ID just happens to correlate almost with the position of the element in the array. We just have to subtract 1 because arrays start at index of 0. Yeah, here.
If we delete elements, though, doesn't that kind of throw everything off? Because the IDs are going to have like gaps in it.
So that would make sense if like I was using a database, but we just have an array.
Oh, right.
I'm not changing the ID. I still want the ID to be the same. I'm just updating attributes of that object. Any other questions? So I'm going to say all gifs dot splice, and I want to start at the index of the edited gift, right? So the index, the ID of this edited gift.id is like 1. Let's say we're looking at the first one. But in the array, that should be index of 0. So this should be like let in edit gift index equal edited gift.id minus 1. That makes sense so far, right? So that's going to be the index that I pass in, edited gift index. I want to remove 1 element from that position, right? And I will want to replace it with our updated gift. Yeah.
I think if we continue to remove things from our array, right, and we try to remove something from the middle, our offset for the index position of the ID may not match up. So in other words, right, like if we have like we remove like 3 elements from the middle of the array, right, and we try to find like the 4th one, the index position is going to be like a couple off from the ID.
Okay.
I think we probably use like find index.
Okay. I'll just do let index equal all gifs dot index of my edited gift. Same thing. It'll just give me back the index. This will be like technically 0 because if we're doing the first one, and then update this with index. Okay. So I'm gonna console.log all gifs after update. All gifs, and then I'm going to console log it before update. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So let's go to our project. Let's refresh. I'm going to try to edit the first gift. So it's auto-populating in here. I'm going to change this to money. Copy in that URL. Replace that, and then I'm going to click edit your gift. So hopefully we see the original array where the first one is 8 socks, and then we're going to see the console log after where it just becomes money. Okay? All gifts before update. Oh, you know why? It's logging the updated gift before I even reassign what the name and value is, which is weird. I'll move this up to outside the event listener before we even try to edit a gift, right? So I'm going to refresh this. Money. Oh, I didn't click edit. Duh. Edit this. Money. Okay. Before the update, it's still money. So that probably means I'm reassigning it somewhere. Let me just move this all the way up before I even set anything. I'm going to update the last one. So the last one is still hot sauce, the last tab. Give me another gift. Sneakers. Really ugly sneakers. Oh, what if someone actually likes these? I'm gonna pick this one. I don't know. If you like these, please don't be offended. I'm sorry. Gift name, some dank sneaks. Okay. So when I submit on this, hopefully my array, the last element has a new name and an image URL. Nice. Some dank sneaks, and the image URL has updated as well. I think what was happening earlier is that I was console logging when I was already updating. Because, like, I had it down here, right? But the thing is, like, I'm already changing what these attributes are in the form. So it was reassigning what the name and the value of that object was before I wanted it to. Any questions? Oops. Let me go back to where I was. Okay. So we're updating the object, but we're not updating what we see, right? So that means I need to find something to update it, right? I probably want to find the div that's holding the GIF that I'm editing, right? Questions? No? Okay. So what I can do after this is just invoke a function and pass in the GIF I just updated. Does that make sense with everyone? You can invoke anything inside of here, like an event listener, as long as all your logic for it is built out right. So I'll just do like update gift div. And I'm going to pass it the edited gift. And then I'm going to define updated gift. Update gift div. It takes in updated gift. I'm just going to say gift object or just gift. And in here, I just want to put a debugger. So any questions so far? Yeah.
Would you just be able to call show gifts and pass show gifts to be edited? No, you can't.
Wait, I'm sorry, what was the question?
If you could just call show gifts again and just pass in the new array instead of creating a whole new function.
So what Johan is saying is actually like what I wanted to point out to you guys. What I can do is reiterate through, or I can find the object inside of the array and just update that div, right? That specific div. But I know that I updated the entire array of all the GIFs, right? So I have a function that already iterates through each of those and creates a div, creates the li, creates the image, assigns those attributes, and appends it to the page. So it's probably going to be useful if I just reuse that. Because all GIFs, when it's first invoked, is that original array of GIFs where nothing is modified once a DOM is loaded. And then when I'm invoking it after I update the gift, now it's an array where one of those GIFs have been modified. But it's still the all GIFs array, right? So instead of calling updated GIF div, I'm just going to call show GIFs. Now let's get rid of this. Refresh this. I'm going to make these sneakers instead. Some dank. No, I feel bad. Nothing happened. I'm going to press submit. So hopefully the first one changes into those like weird sneaker sandal contraption thing. This one. Honestly, these are probably like $8,000 too. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to click edit your gift. Didn't work. Oh, I didn't press edit again. Guys. I'm going to click edit. Let me refresh. I'm going to click edit on this. Some dank sneaks, paste in that URL. It's not actually showing.
You scroll down.
Yeah.
To the, on the website, I think it's getting appended to
Oh, I see what's happening. So now we have this issue where we have our original list of the original gifts, and now we have a new set of 4 with the updated gift. So what if I just remove everything that's inside that UL and then call show gifts? Does everyone understand why we're having this issue? Show of hands if you want me to explain. Okay, so right now, this part, I'm going to try to talk really loud so it's on the recording, but sorry if not. Right now, we have our UL. We have our UL right here. And this has gift 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what's happening when we load the DOM and we call show gifts, right? And then we choose to edit this one, right? So now our original array of 1, 2, 3, 4 looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone good so far with what we've done, right? And then I'm trying to iterate over this new array and replace what's on the page so that it looks like this. Ideally, that's what we want to happen. But what's happening right now is that our DOM content is loaded. We call show gifts, meaning the first 4 show up. We edit this one, and then we call show gifts with this array again. And all we're doing is appending to the UL in show gifts every time we invoke it. So I'm just going to append 1, 2, 3, and 4 to what's already inside the UL. Does that make sense? What I want to do is remove all this and just have this one, right? So we probably need to remove some elements. Ooh. So what we can do before we invoke show gifts, we already have access to the gift collection, right? We want to remove all the children for this UL, right? Off the top of my head, I don't know a short way to do this, so I'm just going to Google it. Remove all children from HTML element JavaScript. Whoa, first hit. Remove all child elements of a DOM node in JavaScript. That's dope. That's exactly what I want. So, no. I could just set the inner HTML to be nothing, right? Does that make sense to everyone? So right now, there's all this inner HTML for each of these divs, which has an li for the name of the gift and an image tag for the image source. So all I can do is say, hey, you know what? Inside of your container, just make it empty. Make the inner HTML absolutely nothing and just reset it to like have nothing inside of it. Yeah, here.
Where's this? Much slower, much faster. It's talking about HTML, like processing time. I guess you wouldn't know what we're talking about. Just on option 1 and 2. It says
Oh. As I understand it, using inner HTML performs much better than removing the children individually. I think they're just having an argument about which is faster, but here we don't really talk about speed. It's more just like getting something done, getting something to work, and then refactoring later.
Yeah.
So I think I'm fine with just using inner HTML.
Yeah, and there's also something to be said about like premature optimization, right? Like it takes a lot of effort to like speed up your application depending on like what you want to do. So often the conversation is like, okay, what's like the most trafficked part of our app? Let's clean up that. And like the rest of it, like, okay, it's working fine. Let's just kind of do a little. So like, yes, there's usually a faster way to do just about anything, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to worry about it right this second. It's not really causing us any pain. So you may not necessarily need to fix it. Right.
So we're just gonna remove all the gifts currently inside the gift collection, and then, yeah, oh, just to backtrack, Andrew's totally right. I think I've had students before ask me like, oh, is this the most efficient way to do this? Is this the most concise way? But like, if you haven't even attempted to doing it once, why are we thinking that far ahead? Again, kind of that issue of thinking way too far ahead of like where you are right now. So we're gonna remove all the gifts currently inside the gift collection and then reset and iterate over the new gifts array and append it to the DOM. Okay. Oh, did I move too fast? Are people typing? No? Okay. I'm gonna refresh our Giftr. Let me close this really quick. I wanna edit this one. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. I'm just gonna edit the first one. I'm gonna say some dank shoes. Lost the URL. Copy this, paste this in here, edit your gift. Hey. Cool, so that's how you edit a gift. That took us the longest time, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to do the delete pretty quickly, and then the filter pretty quickly as well. So, what's the best? Do you have a new gift idea for me?
Yes.
Send it over.
Are you sure?
On a book of Samuel Jackson quotes.
Book of Samuel Jack.
Samuel L. Wilson.
There's no book.
I can send you the
No, it's okay. I'm not gonna open Slack. Okay, so this is actually how I do labs too. I get super distracted. So we want to be able to delete a gift. So we already have a button to edit one, so I'm just gonna throw one in there to delete one as well. When we're creating the gift div, we also create the edit button, and then let's just throw in the delete button. Let delete button equal document dot create element button. Never mind. And then delete button dot inner text equals annihilate. Sad. Oops. No, it's shocked. And then delete button dot id equals gift dot id. And then gift li dot append delete button. This is pretty much this all over again, and it definitely could be refactored so we're not having redundant code. But as our kind of like logic here is, it's just making it work first. Don't worry about making it look like really beautiful and concise. Coders never do it that well on their first try. So hopefully when I refresh, the delete button shows up as well. Nice. Edit and annihilate. If I had more time, I would style this better, but whatever. So I want to add an event listener to delete that button, right? Add event listener for edit. And then let's also add event listener for delete. Sound good? Delete button dot add event listener. On click. Do you want to see me just do it inside of here again? Or do you guys want to see a callback? Yeah, I'll do it in here. Huh? Oh, thank you.
When you say we want to see a callback, I was under the impression that this was also a callback function, no? Does that help?
So I'm just like encapsulating all the logic in a different function and invoking that function as a callback. This is just, it's kind of the same thing. It's like an anonymous function and you're invoking the logic in here, but I just like when it's like outside.
But my question is that this function that you're making right now is not a callback function? It's just
No, it is. It's an anonymous one. It's like the same as me doing
so
this.
They're both callback functions.
Yeah, I just call it a callback. The wording is confusing. Do you want me to use a differently named function that's been declared outside or just use the anonymous one right in here? Right in there? Okay, thank you. So, I know I have my console.log. Let's see if we have our gift. We have our gift. We have the all gifts array. I just want to pop one out of there, right? So I'll do all gifts dot index of. Find the index of the gift that we're iterating over, and then do all gifts dot slice 0. Wait, I forget how slice works. Slice JavaScript. So all you do is pass in the index that you want to remove something at, and then how many elements you want to remove. So at index of let delete gift index equal this. Pass that in as my starting index, and then I only want to remove one element, right? And then after that, I want to use show gifts again, right?
Why don't you put the iteration in the show gifts, where you put in the edit one before.
Say that one more time.
Keep going up.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Mhm.
Gift collection that enter HTML. You just put that inside show gifts.
Yeah, we can just do the same logic and invoke the function that we're defining, right? Hopefully this works. All gifts, no wait, what do we call it? Gift collection. Gift collection dot inner HTML. I'm gonna reset it to be nothing. And then invoke show gifts again. See, I'm not sure if we can invoke, I think we can invoke this function while we're defining it. But let's check. All gifts. You know what? I'm going to put a debugger here. Let me not just assume that I know more JavaScript than I actually do. I'm going to refresh. I want to delete this first one. We're hitting the debugger. So if we look at all gifts now, because I'm not reassigning what this points to, right? So if I do let test equal, or let updated gifts equal all gifts dot slice, delete gift index at 1, updated gifts is, sorry, I spelled it wrong. Oh, debugger, bane of my life. I'm gonna set this equal to let updated gifts to a variable, and then reassign what all gifts is. So if I put a console log of all gifts here, gifts with 1 deleted is all gifts, put a debugger. Any questions about what I'm doing right now? Yeah, Tyr.
On line 80, we're finding index.
Mm-hmm.
How is that working? Isn't gift not defined anywhere? So how does it know, like,
Oh, we're actually, yeah, let's see if it's defined. Because we're already in the debugger, right? Oh no, I wanted to do delete, right? So, gift is defined. Because we're actually, it was a while ago, we're iterating over each one and utilizing each element. But I think I used the slice wrong because all gifts is just returning to me that one element I'm trying to remove instead of the array with that one element removed. So let's look at that documentation again. Let's use MDN. So I have to say, I want to take out 0, and then I think this. Wait, what were you saying, Tyr?
I was just asking if we could filter out the one for removing and then save that return value working with problems.
We could do filter. Do you want me to do filter instead?
No,
Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's just show another iterator. So I would do, actually I probably don't need this. I would do all gifs dot filter. Let's save this to a variable. Updated gifs equal this. For each gif, if gif dot id triple equals, let's see what our event is. Event dot target. Cool. The button has the ID, so I'm going to say if gif ID equals event dot target dot ID, and I need to convert this to an integer. If it does, no, if it doesn't, then I want to return gift. Otherwise, do nothing. So let's see what updated gifs is then, before I reassign. I'm going to refresh. I'm going to delete the first one. Now we're getting this updated gifs array. It has 3 elements, and we removed the first one that we've deleted. So last step is probably to just reassign what all gifs equals, right? So I'm going to comment this back in, and then maybe we can update the, maybe we can get the new, maybe we can show the gifs with the one that we have removed. So delete this. Nice. And we just get the other 3. Any questions about that? Okay. 8 minutes. 8 minutes to do a filter. Yeah. So every time I refresh, we kind of lose whatever we've updated. Like if I do edit fancy pen, I'm going to make this sneaker. Oops. Where's that sneaker? Edit this, and it shows up, right? We haven't refreshed for anything, which is great. That's why we see it. But as soon as I refresh, the problem now is that the DOM is loading with that original array again because we're not using a server and we're not persisting our changes. Does that make sense to everyone? So the question was like, when we refresh, why doesn't all sneakers show up again? Again, it's just because we're not using a database. And Jeff will be able to like show you that aspect in the later afternoon lecture. Yeah.
How come, I don't understand why the annihilator is working and it's showing just the 3 as opposed to showing the 4 before show gifs. The iterator that we're using is still the original all gifs now. Oh no, you reassigned it there, I'm sorry. All gifs.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. So I'm going to do the filter really, really quickly, if that's okay with everyone. And I think the create, Andrew already covered that in like his lecture yesterday. So if you still have questions on that, I can like sit with you guys after. So we want to add an event listener to this input with the ID filter input. So I'm going to find this first. In my index.js, I'm just going to make it a global variable. Find the filter gif names. Const filter gifs equals document.query selector. Oops. Query selector. We're going to use the ID of the gif name, right? And then in here, I'm just going to do this outside of a function because why not? I'm going to say, because this is another way you can do DOM manipulation if you don't want to have things inside of a function and then invoke them later on, like I did the show gifs. Okay? What we can do is do filter gifs dot add event listener. There's a ton of event listeners. Someone typing is a specific one called like key down. Key down. I forget if it's camel case.
Wait, where are we listening?
No, I think it's all over.
Me typing in here.
Okay, yeah. I think one of them either key down or key up. There's like a weird issue where it like updates the values, so you're gonna be like one behind. Try key down. Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, and then
I'm pretty sure it's key down.
yeah, I think key down. Yeah, key down should give it to you.
Yeah. So what he's saying is like, if I was typing in here, this happens with one of the event listeners. I don't know if it's key down or key up. When I type in here, it's going to be one letter off. So like me typing in hi, it would just show H instead of HI.
That's key up.
Yeah, that one's key up. So what I'm gonna do is just put a debugger, and hopefully this event listener gets triggered as soon as I type. And press A. So if I see what event.target is, it's that input. If I see what value, it's nothing, because, oh, this is one step behind. Maybe it is key up. Refresh. A. Yeah, this is the one we want. Event.target.value is A. Did everyone see what I just did? Any questions? No? Okay. So what I want to do is, when I'm doing this, let input equal event.target.value, right? It's just like whatever the user searches. And then I want to filter the array of gifts to only show the ones whose name matches the input. Any questions about that logic? No? Okay. So I'm probably going to filter. I'll just do all gifts dot filter for each gift if gift dot name dot includes input return gift. Okay? I'm going to save this to a variable. Let filtered gifts equal this filtered array, right? And then I'm going to reassign what all gifts equals. Do that same logic of saying gift collection dot inner HTML is now nothing, and then gift, and then show gifts, and invoke that function. Everyone okay with this logic? I know I did it really, really fast, but all we're doing is utilizing the built-in filter method. Yeah, Allie.
Like, if the direction said create a search feature, this is essentially
So this is the same thing. I'm searching for gifts is like me searching for one based on a name. This is the same thing. Yeah, that was the. We finished this one, and that's the one we're working on right now. 4. So if I type in socks, I only want to see that first one. So dank. I'm gonna erase this. So I have this like weird edge case where when I'm erasing, it doesn't update. And I know how to fix this, but I have 2 minutes. So if you want to stay to see that, feel free. If you want to go grab lunch, go ahead. I will not be offended. But this is an issue that comes up a lot when you're filtering and having like a search. So what's happening is when I filter over the gifts, I'm reassigning this array to just have that one that I found. So initially, before I reassign, all gifts is the array of 4 elements, right? When I filter it and reassign, now all gifts is just that sock one I found, right? I lose access to the original 4 I have, so when I backspace, I only have 1 gift in there, so that's all that's going to show. So what we can do is kind of like a hacky logic where we'll say let filtered gifts equal an empty array, right? When I filter gift names, when I search for a gift based on the name, I'm going to reassign filtered gifts. I'm going to call this filtered array. Filtered gift array. Filtered gift array, right? I'm going to do that. And then all the way in here, in all this logic, oh geez. So I'll say because now I want to do a conditional. I either want to use the filtered gifts array or I want to use the original all gifts array. So I'm just going to say if all filtered gifts dot length. The reason why we can't just do filtered gifts, like meaning if it exists, is because we're assigning it to an empty array, so it's automatically going to return to us a truthy value. So we only want to do it when there's something inside of the filtered array. Does that make sense for everyone? Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to say if filtered gifs dot length is greater than 0, then I'm going to have to copy paste all this. Where does this end? This is not dry. I'm sorry. Filtered gifs, but I'll try to refactor it a little bit. Otherwise, wait, let me just see where my, else, I want to filter over all the gifs, the original array. Okay, it's not dry. Please don't laugh at me. So, I want to filter over socks. We see that first one. When I backspace, I still have all 4 because now the filtered gifs array has nothing inside of it, so I can utilize the original array. Any questions? It's super, super not dry, but if you did this in a code challenge, that would be okay.